Ross Kemp, Mafia and Britain, starts this Tuesday, 10th of September, 9 p.m. on Sky History, and the man himself joins us now. I mean, me and Al just watched a little snippet the other night of Ep 2, I think it is. We're obviously familiar with the Mafia in terms of Italy and...
TV.
You've got your Sopranos, you've got your Godfather.
Right,
Yeah.
We've read all the books, but the Mafia in the UK doesn't seem like a tangible thing. So what was the starting point of this?
Well, the starting point is the death of Roberto Calvi, who was known as God's banker. He was over 60 years old.
I remember that.
He climbed over Blackfriars Bridge. He got over the scaffolding. He's over 60 years old and slightly, I would say, heavy for his age.
Yeah.
But he had 5 bricks in his underpants, 2 gold watches and about £40,000 in cash. And the police promptly said, that's a suicide. No, it's not a suicide, because it'd be very difficult to be a suicide. And it was a symbolic killing, and it's never been proven, but we think it was a symbolic killing. That starts the journey, but I end up at a caravan site in Preston looking at an Italian hitman who was travelling from Preston to Naples to make his hits.
So living in Preston?
Living in Preston, driving, stealing a car, driving it, they were looking at Porsches at the time, driving it down to Naples, offloading the car, killing someone at the weekend, and then driving back and spending a week before he drove back again the next week. Jenny Panzuto.
So they're living here and hiding in plain sight, or...?
That's the way it works. And, you know, I've got to say, we travel all over the world. So we start off in London, but then we go to America, where I meet, you know, George the Cowboy, Monterano, Crazy Sal, Polizzi. These are the guys that were genuinely around during the Goodfellas days. These
are quite intoxicating people. Personalities are really interesting.
Like
charming.
Central casting, charming,
yeah,
but also with that element of complete and utter danger, ruthlessness. George did 33 years inside, the first 3 years in solitary. He never gave up. But a lot of the people we speak to are pentitos, so they've given up information. There's one of them, Dominic Sigali, who makes me look a bit like a munchkin. He's absolutely charming on camera, but I've got a screen grab of him when he wasn't looking so charming, and he is terrifying.
So when you're in those situations and you're confronting people like that, how do you know that they trust you, first of all? How do you know they trust you? How do you know that your safety is going to be OK as well, and the crew as well?
In the series, we go from being, say, in the UK to being in America, going down to Miami, looking at the connection between the mob and the cocaine trade. And I ended up... It suddenly stopped becoming a history programme, became real when I'm at 4,000 feet, it's 2,300 at night, it's now 40 degrees nearly, still at night time. I've got a helmet on, body armour, snake garters, and we're traipsing around the Cauca Mountains, elevating to 4,500 feet, and I'm going, we'll be out by 0300. We're still stumbling around at 8 o'clock in the morning in daylight, and it's FARC territory, and they not often kidnap the soldiers. So I lost the nail on my big left toe. No longer a history show at this point.
You're in pain.
Because the thing is, when you sit down with someone
that
used to be in the Mafia, you know you're going to be safe, right? There's no interest in bumping you off. You know what I mean? But when you're up in the wilds somewhere,
exactly.
That's a whole different scenario.
No, absolutely.
Right?
And I think you always have to be on your guard. And then the secret, as you all both know, is you look into people's eyes and you maintain that, and they can look into you, because their radar for someone who is a threat to them is way better than most people's.
Unbelievable. So why the UK? Was it a great place for the Mafia to hide out?
I just think it's about hiding in plain sight. I think a lot of the people that I met, nearly all the people that I met, never had a choice, whether it was in Italy, in America. They were born into it, and there was no way out for them. Wow. And so the only way out for many of them is to, you know, become a pentito. But some of them have just done their time in prison talk. We speak to Marisa, who lives in Preston as well. She was the head of one of the biggest clans in Milan. She had to take over from her father. She's half Italian, half British. And she used to wear Bridget Jones knickers and stuff thousands and thousands of lira and travel them all around Europe to different payoff points for drugs and stuff.
I guess the lovely thing about the shows you do is you never know where it's going to take you in terms of the narrative of it, right? So there's a great starting point, Mafia and Britain. That's interesting. That's the USP. But then you must be the rabbit holes you go down.
I'm on a caravan park in Preston. I'm now going up to Aberdeen. There was a cell in Woking. And I think that's, again, why they're so clever. You know, they didn't choose London, they didn't choose Glasgow, Manchester,
Yeah.
you know, Liverpool. They chose parochial sort of towns where there was something that they wanted or something that they could do where they wouldn't be seen. And I think the other secret to their success has always been, and I have to say slightly admire it from an observing point of view, is that they're always one step ahead of the authorities. And
Don't they have people in authority working with them as well?
we do. There's one guy, he's called Keith, Keef. He was a custom and excise officer that went undercover for over 8 years. Laundering money, not only for the mob, but also for the cartels. And they would just come to his flat in the middle of the night. He was given a Rolls Royce that had been taken from another villain. So he lived the life to the point, and I meet another FBI agent, McGowan, 25 years cold calling on mafia bars. So he said to me, this is the first time, Ross, I've ever sat in a bar with my back to the door. And while he was undercover one day, the packs they used to, remember, he's wired.
Yeah.
If they found that wire,
Wow.
they would have killed him. And the pack went wrong and it started burning his back. And the guy says, they're cooking steaks today. He had to go to the toilet and peel it off his back.
So obviously there's a book that's come from this because,
There is a book.
there's so much more than you can put on TV.
There's 5 programmes, but I would say that they don't do justice to the subjects or to the access that we gained.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable. We can't let you go until we ask about these EastEnders rumours. What is going on? Are you going back? It's the 40th anniversary.
Yes,
Tell me
it
everything.
Tell you everything.
Is Frank going back?
I can tell you nothing.
But never
I'm not
say
a
never.
Pentito.
Never say never.
He's not gonna...
I'm not a Pentito.
She's wearing a wire as well. I've just checked.
Exactly. She's
Burning!
It's
burning.
I am very proud that the show is celebrating 40 years. I wouldn't have had the career, good or bad, without it. I still love it. I still support it. And I would do if I'd come from Coronation Street, or if I was in Emmerdale Farm briefly for a bit. But so yeah, I'm very proud it's celebrating 40 years. I would support it in every way that I can. I can say no more than that.
If I was the producer, though...
Work upstairs! Smashing it out of the park.
If I was the producer, though, I would...
Well, the thing is, it was such a
bring
lovely,
back.
iconic time. I mean, the three of you were so brilliant together, you know. And the lovely thing about sort of bringing this right up to the present day is, and I went to go see Taylor Swift, and there was this great moment where every night her dancer, who's this brilliant guy, me and my wife couldn't take our eyes off him, called Cam Saunders.
Yes.
Who does one line, yeah? And the one line that he did, this is We're Never Getting Back Together, I think, yeah? And he did the Barbara Windsor, you get out of my pub, right?
Get out of my pub.
It's just...
And
well,
she lives on.
Here we go, got it here.
Together. Get out of my pub!
And I think that's testament not only to Taylor Swift's sense of humour and the global success that she is, but also to Barbara's legacy.
Absolutely,
Yeah. She's amazing.
Why not?
She gave me she was my first ever live TV on T4, yeah. That day.
Really?
She was so me and Sheppy, yeah, and she was so marvellous.
Ross, we're really excited. Thank you so much for joining us. It's called Ross Kemp. Mafia and Britain starts Tuesday, 10th of September at 9 p.m. on Sky History. Don't miss it.
Very well.
That was
Thank
good, wasn't
you.
it?
Very good.
Alison.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.